Hello, hello. Welcome to Reddit Family Tales. We're so happy you're here. This is the channel where true stories from the internet come alive, which are full of twists, emotions, and unforgettable moments. Every day, we bring you dramatic, touching, and sometimes jaw-dropping stories straight from Reddit. This is where you can explore family betrayals, secret inheritances, shocking reunions, and powerful acts of love or revenge. If you've ever found yourself glued to a Reddit post thinking, I need to see this play out like a movie, you're in the right place. These stories don't just entertain, they make you feel, reflect, and sometimes even heal. You'll find moments that remind you you're not alone, and others that challenge you to see things from a new perspective. Behind every video is a real story. We carefully research each one, selecting tales that spark deep emotions and reflect real-life struggles and growth. Our team writes scripts, records voiceovers, and edits everything using top-tier tools like Adobe Premiere Pro, Photoshop, and After Effects to bring you storytelling at its finest. Whether you're here to cry, cheer, or just wonder what you would do in these situations, Reddit Family Tales is your space. So if you love powerful storytelling, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell. We post regularly, and you won't want to miss a single twist. Thanks for watching, and remember, sometimes the most unbelievable stories are the true ones. See you in the next video.
Of that equivalent of love. So now that we're adults, we can actually say, you know what? There's somebody in my past who was present and attentive, and I love that person. And if you know, that is love, but your ability to sort of build that much more advanced neurobiological capability emerged from thousands and thousands and thousands of repetitions of these loving, nurturing relational interactions.
I think that's such a great point because as I grew older, and it wasn't just my grandmother whipping me, but other people, I remember getting a whipping once and having, one of my relatives say, I'm whipping you because I love you. Well, it certainly didn't feel like love. But I know that for that generation, the idea of I'm going to keep you in line and I'm going to make sure you're disciplined and that you're going to obey and do the right thing, in their minds might have felt like love, but certainly did not feel like or was interpreted by me to mean love. I mean, I think for anybody who's listening to us or watching right now, and I know if you are culturally raised the way I was, you have a lot of pain behind those whippings. And I remember doing a show on the Oprah show years later talking about should children be spanked, and a Black woman stood up and said, well, I got beat every day, and I was in the choir and my father beat me in front of the whole congregation in church, and I turned out okay. And I'm like, did you really? Because anybody who's ever been hit realizes the humiliation of that. What you feel more than anything, even as a little kid, is the humiliation of it. And what you are being told in that moment is that you have no value, that you are worth nothing, that you are so worthless that I get now to lay my hands on you and physically beat you. So it takes a lot. And I would have to say that it was a lot for me to overcome, to begin to understand that my life was of value. And as I say in What Happened to You, what did that for me were relationships with my teachers. I could cry right now thinking about the teachers who stood in the gap for me and made me feel valued, made me feel important. So it was only at school or speaking in church that I felt a sense of I mattered, that there was some meaning and purpose for me in life. And so, as when I was talking to Bruce on 60 Minutes, I say, Bruce, please explain to me why I'm not crazy. Because I grew up in these circumstances where I should have no self-values, no self-worth. But Bruce, as he explains in What Happened to You, you don't have to have it come from your family. Other relationships with people who are nurturing, supporting, caring, and actually just see you. So the reason why I loved school so much is because that's the place that I felt seen.
Yeah. It makes me so happy to hear you both give people the permission to realize that they don't have to have it all figured out, and that they can't have it all figured out, and that we're all trying to be the perfect parent, the perfect person, the perfect professional, the perfect partner, and perfection's impossible as it is, but even that striving for it, you're giving everyone the permission to realize. And also I love that point that was just made around how this is not just what's happening at home. It can be heightened or amplified by what happens at school, or it can be nurtured and nourished and improved as well by what happens. And Oprah, one of